been messing with everything? It's been August all along. Hi everyone, it's me, and today let's talk about Marvel's WandaVision. Together, let's watch this past theory.
Marvel's WandaVision is a big hit on Disney Plus and the highest rated MCU production ever, which
Yes, I agree with you, it has been very groundbreakingly awesome.
honestly can only mean one of two things. Either we've all been starved for Marvel content, or Disney's been spending way too much on fight scenes. Apparently what people really want to watch is the Avengers picking out baby furniture. Hello Internet, welcome to Film Theory.
Hello Internet, welcome to Film Theory. Hello! Who's been messing with everything? It's been August all along.
Now, in Technicolor. You know, if you're like me, you've been glued to the TV every Friday to check out the new episodes of Marvel Studios' WandaVision. Partly for the intrigue, partly for the memes, but mostly to watch the two most overpowered Avengers do something other than hanging back during battle so Hawkeye doesn't feel even more useless. Seriously, let Clint go home to his wife and tractor already. Arrow Man is out of his depth. But in all
Well, he did sort of retire and pass it to Kate Bishop, but let's talk about it next time.
seriousness, WandaVision is like my perfect show. One that recreates the tropes of classic television and then twists them to create a meta-commentary on the medium, while also weaving together a compelling mystery where no one has any idea what's going on.
I think something's wrong here, Wanda.
If the number of requests I've gotten to cover this series is any indication, lots of people are feeling just as confused as Vision about what's really going on here. And since those heartless monsters at Disney are making us wait a whole week in between episodes, give us some time to work a few things out. Maybe crack the case of not only WandaVision's big mystery, but also the shocking twist for the near future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe itself.
Alright, case in point, this video came out in the year 2021, January. A lot of things may have... Yeah, I'm sorry.
But if the secret villain of WandaVision and the next phase of the MCU as a whole is Wanda Maximoff herself. Ho, Wanda stands. Don't smash that dislike button all at once, but you can smash that subscribe button to help push this channel over 10 million subscribers.
Subscribe! Thank you so much, and don't forget to ring the notification bell. Thank you!
Let's look at the facts, shall we? If you read the online theories, the prevailing thought is that the big bad WandaVision is setting up is Mephisto, who is quite literally the Marvel equivalent of the devil. He does largely what the devil tends to do in stories. He makes deals with people and then tries to trick them into selling their soul. So why would the internet hive mind make this huge leap that classic sitcoms automatically lead to Santa himself?
No.
So why would the internet hive mind make this huge leap that classic sitcoms automatically lead to Satan himself?
Oh my god! He just put a rewind button.
Well, lots of small things, really. First, there's Wanda's neighbor, who's always wearing a brooch and is dressed in a witch costume in the trailer. Her name is Agnes, very close to Agatha Harkness, a character from the comics who also always wears a brooch and is a witch and just so happens to be a servant of Mephisto. Add to that the fact that she says this,
The devil's in the details, Bev.
That's not the only place he is.
which is more than a little suspicious. During that episode's fake commercial break, take a look at the back of the toaster. If you flip the image vertically, it says 666, a number commonly associated with the devil. And even outside of WandaVision, we see the devil starting to appear in other corners of the MCU. In the trailer for the Disney Plus series Loki, we see a church of some kind with a stained glass window that clearly depicts the Dark Lord of all things. Now that one is super weird, and considering how Marvel's release calendar is looking, the only places it really makes sense for the devil to be introduced is either in Loki or, you guessed it, WandaVision. So there you have it.
No. What ifs?
Mephisto is the main villain of WandaVision, and moving forward will be the big bad of Phase 5. But hey, that's just a theory. A film!
No.
If you read the online theories, the prevailing thought is that the big bad WandaVision is setting up is Mephisto. Except for one thing, Marvel knows how much we pour over this stuff to find out what's gonna happen. They do all kinds of witchcraft to obscure the truth and make us buy into false realities. From Thor's missing eye in Ragnarok to Thanos' Infinity Stones. And in this case, I think the Mephisto Easter eggs are just that. Fun references to misdirect superfans. Because adding Mephisto into the story at this point is too risky. Not from a narrative standpoint or not wanting to get supernatural with it, nothing of the sort. I think it's too risky for one reason: China. China, as you might suspect, is a huge market for movies. It's the second largest in the world, in fact, by a large margin. But in order for your movie to release in China, it has to follow some pretty harsh censorship rules. For instance, did you know that Iron Man 3 had 4 extra minutes inserted into it in order to get released in China, including an extra scene where it suddenly turns into a Chinese medical drama? That is not nearly as jarring as the moments when the film promotes Tony Stark drinking Chinese milk products, which were put in there to ease the population's concern over milk tainted with mercury. No joke. Anyway, China tends not to release any movies that are critical of the country's past or current political regime, and along with that is a ban on ghosts or things of a supernatural nature. For instance, this ban resulted in the censorship of the controversial film Babe, Pig in the City, because the censor had a policy against talking animals.
La la la.
Granted, Marvel has certainly had its fair share of luck with the Chinese censor board in the past. Endgame got a pass, despite Back to the Future being censored for its use of time travel. But Disney has recently run into issues with China after the release of Mulan, and Disney Plus is still struggling to release in the country. So storylines that heavily feature the Lord of the HE double hockey sticks dimension would probably be a risk that they're not willing to take right now. Besides, the more interesting narrative here, and the one that all the clues are pointing to, is that the real villain of WandaVision and the thing that'll kick off the entirety of Phase 5 is Wanda herself, as she rips holes into the multiverse either out of anger or grief.
Alright, he meant Phase 4.
Don't believe me? It's easy to forget at this point, but she started as a villain in Avengers Age of Ultron, where she and her twin brother Pietro were super-powered henchmen for Hydra. And since then, she has been through a lot. As a child, she was present when her parents were killed by a Stark Industry mortar shell. If that wasn't bad enough, she was then trapped for days next to a second undetonated Stark bomb.
We were trapped for 2 days.
Every effort to save us, every shift in the bricks, I think this will set it off. We wait for 2 days for Tony Stark to kill us.
By the end of the movie, she loses her brother and her entire country of Sokovia. And it doesn't get any better for her when she becomes a good guy. She's blamed for the accident that leads to the passing of the Sokovia Accords and causes Avengers Civil War, which then forces her to live as an outlaw. She had to see her beloved Vision die twice, once by her very own hand in Infinity War. And
Yes, think about it. She had to kill her loved one just to see him become back again and killed again. Ouch.
then she gets dusted, only to come back and have everyone she was friends with in the team, like Black Widow and Captain America, either gone or dead. In the final scene of Endgame, she's aligned with Falcon? It makes no sense. She is alone at this point in the series. I mean, all of that is enough to knock the fake Russian accent out of anybody.
You said we would destroy the Avengers.
Well, there are people who are expecting me too. You know, we both made promises.
See, I forgot to tell you my wife is from Europe.
What is it the Joker always says?
All it takes is one bad day.
Well, Wanda has had bad decades. So Wanda is definitely in a fragile state when we last see her in Endgame. But Wanda's inner struggle between good and evil isn't just evident in the MCU, it's inspired directly from her origins in the Marvel comics. There, she and her brother Quicksilver were founding members of the OG X-Men villains, the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. And you know they're the bad guys because they put it in their name. The Brotherhood was a family business.
The Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Their leader, Magneto, yeah, that Magneto,
The father.
was Wanda and Pietro's dad. The Maximoff
You are the father.
twins didn't turn to the side of good until they joined the Avengers in Avengers number 16, and while they've mostly been heroes ever since, there has been some back and forth in comics like Avengers 53 and X-Men 45. Now, obviously the MCU doesn't follow the comics to the letter, so why does any of this matter? Well, because they very often go back to the comics for inspiration. And while WandaVision is indeed an original story, it seems to be taking its cues from 3 specific Marvel storylines: the Vision and the Scarlet Witch limited series, Avengers Disassembled, that you can can figure out how that one goes, and House of M, all of which tell very different but connected stories with one big thing in common. They all had dark plot twists involving reality not being what it seems, and Wanda being the cause of it.
Yes, think about it. The House of M. Super iconic. Let me try. No more mutants. Poof, poof, poof. Then everybody just died.
First glance, Vision and the Scarlet Witch seems to be the most similar to WandaVision, in that it's a fun sort of Marvel story mostly about the characters trying to live normal lives in the suburbs, including Wanda using her Scarlet Witch powers to conceive her twin sons, Tommy and Billy. Sound familiar?
Tommy?
Yes, Tommy. There's another baby coming!
Even though this quirky 80s miniseries is a mostly happy story, it gets an unexpectedly dark conclusion in the pages of West Coast Avengers a few years later, when it's revealed that Billy and Tommy didn't actually exist. No, really, in a twist worthy of a mid-tier M. Night Shyamalan movie, it turns out Billy and Tommy are illusions that Wanda willed into existence from her own subconscious without ever realizing it. I know, right? How would that work? You know how in the movies they never really explain what Wanda's powers are and they don't really make a whole lot of sense? Well, in the comics, they do explain them and they still don't make sense.
Why was she up there all this time?
The simple version is that she can alter probability and the nature of reality itself. So basically, she's not so much throwing cars at your face as she is creating a new reality wherein cars are now on top of your face. Anyway, the whole make-believe baby thing was arranged by Mephisto and a guy named Master Pandemonium, whose name sounds a lot like the opening band for a Megadeth concert, and who, it's worth noting, literally had babies for hands. Yeah, I know. Anyway, as you can imagine, finding out your entire reality and your children was a lie created in your own subconscious is gonna be kinda traumatic. So every memory that was related to Tommy and Billy gets erased from Wanda's memory, never to be mentioned again. But then, 20 years later, in the massive end of an era reboot event, Avengers Disassembled, Marvel decides, hey, remember that time you thought you had twins but you didn't because Satan would be as good of a reason as any for the Scarlet Witch to lose her mind so hard she nearly destroys the Avengers. In Disassembled, the Avengers are systematically destroyed by a series of disasters, betrayals, personal failings, and reappearances by some of their worst enemies, nearly all of which turn out to be illusions or psychic manipulations caused by the Scarlet Witch's reality-changing powers. The whole thing forces them to get a new clubhouse, let Wolverine join the crew, and ultimately reboot the issue numbering. So it was mostly an excuse to shake up the lineup and redecorate, but it was a huge deal in terms of redefining Wanda as one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Comics universe. After that came House of M, which gave her powers yet another frightening dimension. Literally, when it's revealed that Wanda can do more than just change her own reality, she can create an entirely new one.
Yes, once again, let me try. No more mutants.
In House of M, she traps the entire Marvel universe in an alternate version of itself where her brother is alive again, and everyone who is still mad at her from the last thing, so, you know, like a lot of people, would hopefully forget reality because they suddenly had new lives based on their greatest wishes coming true. Spoiler alert, doesn't work.
Not a great plan.
Leading to her iconic line, "No more mutants," where she erases all—
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! He said it, Nepad, say it!
all mutant powers from existence, more or less. It's a bit of an oversimplification, but that's the broad strokes. So already I bet you could start seeing a lot of parallels here. A storyline about Wanda and Vision living a perfect suburban life and having 2 kids under mysterious circumstances. Getting some big Vision and Scarlet Witch vibes there. Her rewinding the show to rewrite how events proceed when she doesn't like the direction things are going.
No.
It shows that she has control over this world. Her getting mad and yeeting people out of sitcom land when things just become a bit too real. It tells us that she has created, intentionally or otherwise, an alternate reality inside of this bubble.
And giving other people superpowers as well, so
Perfect world where she can exist alongside her dead robot lover and her make-believe children. Is that why the other characters are so afraid of her? Are they prisoners trapped inside of WandaVision's alternate reality the same way that the entire Marvel universe was trapped in the House of M reality? Hey, future MatPat jumping in here. Who knew episode 4 would reveal quite so much. Kinda sucks when your episodes take 2 weeks to produce. Means that you're working with 3 weeks worth of information when episode 4 is also there. So you just kinda gotta cross your fingers and hope it doesn't blow too many things up. Anyway, this last point actually seems to be confirmed in this latest episode. We see them go through person by person, showing that the cast of the show are townsfolk that are trapped in this reality, all except for one notable exception who goes unnamed.
Westview. Get it? WV. Similarly as WandaVision.
There was no mention of Agnes. Suspicious? I think so. A key part of the 3 storylines we just talked about from the comics is that Wanda doesn't necessarily turn evil in them. It's just that when she loses control of her subconscious, it sometimes goes to bad places and does bad things. So it's entirely possible that while she is the one controlling things in WandaVision, she's not actually controlling them herself. She's not aware that she's the one controlling them. She might be unconscious or sedated or even in a coma. I mean, think about this. In psychoanalytic dream theory of the type popularized by Sigmund Freud, the
Psychotic dream theory. Alright, continue.
conscious mind rearranges seemingly unrelated images and ideas into symbolically recognizable new forms, which we then recall as dreams in our subconscious. Like, say, a traumatic memory about a ticking Stark time bomb becoming a creepy ticking Stark toaster commercial.
Top and bottom heating elements can handle anything. The all-new Toastmate 2000 by Stark Industries.
Hear that suspicious ticking of the toaster? Listen again.
Top and bottom heating elements can handle anything.
And that ominous flashing light? That, my friends, is no toaster. That is the ticking time bomb of childhood trauma.
We wait for 2 days for Tony Stark to kill us.
Then there's the commercial in episode 3 about soap, which is a reference to Agent Coulson's theories about Hydra using soap as a mind control device.
Would have figured it out a long time ago if it wasn't for the mind control soap.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Hydra loads it up with chemicals. It seeps into our bloodstream, implants false memories into our brains. They want us to believe this is a magical place. I make my own soap now.
Even the black and white palette could be Wanda's subconscious calling back to Vision's death in Infinity War. Yeah, his whole body turned monochrome, which might just cause her subconscious to associate the black and white aesthetic of old TV with the last memory of that person being dreamed back to life. Now that is meta. Hey, Future MatPat again. This is another one of those things that's nearly confirmed in episode 4. After Wanda is reminded of the reality outside of her sitcom bubble, she temporarily sees Vision in his real, dead form. And again, he's in monochrome. Am I the only one thinking that she may just be puppeteering the dead body of her boyfriend? Because if so, that would be awesome. In short,
have no ounce of original material. I just love it that they just bring up the ship of Theseus.
undeniable truth
metaphysics
here is that Vision is dead, and there's a high likelihood that the children aren't real, or if they are, they're gonna be taken from her.
For the children.
When the laugh track dies and the retro clothes go away at the end of the series, which you know they're going to, she's gonna be left alone, which means this series is gonna end with one very unhappy, very powerful witch running loose in the MCU who now's unlocked the ability to make reality bend the knee.
And don't forget, there's the Sorcerer Supreme, and also there's Doctor Strange, which, fun fact, is not the is not the Sorcerer Supreme, because he was bleeped away for 5 years. So Doctor Strange is not the Sorcerer Supreme.
There a doctor in the house? Perhaps a master of the mystic arts? After all, in case you forgot, Elizabeth Olsen is scheduled to play Scarlet Witch again in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness in early 2022, but they never said she was one of the good guys. Olsen is also starting to talk up rumors that she might just pop up in the third Spider-Man movie. You know, the one that's also supposed to be dealing with alternate universes coming together, the one that
and credit scenes, but you are included. Yes, correct, you are.
That's also set to feature a previously confirmed guest appearance by Doctor Strange, and the one that's set to hit theaters only 3 months before Multiverse of Madness. Multiverse of Madness, man, that is such a stupid name. It's like really cheesy, like awkwardly cheesy. Wait a minute, Multiverse of Madness. M-O-M. If you ask me, it looks like Marvel's newest mom is likely to end WandaVision ripping open reality in an attempt to reclaim her happiness, and maybe even her kids, with the rest of Phase 5 needing to sort it all out. And by the end, Disney gets to keep who they like, they get to lose who they don't, and they get an excuse to introduce the X-Men without breaking the established continuity of all the movies that came before.
The X-Men! Now that's incredible. Fantastic.
No more mutants, more like bring on the mutants. All it takes is for Mom to go a little bit mad. But wait, future MatPat here to chime in one final time. All of this would actually be a pretty bad look for Disney. Their first female hero, Black Widow, is like the first major character to get killed off in these movies, and then their second one turns evil because babies. It's not a good look for them. And rewatching these episodes with number 4 now in consideration, I think we're actually gonna have ourselves a scapegoat. I do think everything that I said in today's theory is still going to wind up being true, but I think that there's one final layer to all of this, that someone is actually going to be revealed to be using Wanda throughout this whole thing.
Yes, and... who's been messing with everything? It's been Agatha all along. Who's been pulling all those evil strings? Schemes. It's been Agatha all along.
Kind of like Mephisto in the comics, and the hexagons are the things to prove it. If you were paying attention to the first 3 episodes, you saw hexagons everywhere throughout the series, but episode 4 really just explicitly called it out, outright making question number 1, why hexagons? And while sure, the Mind Stone was technically a hexagon, the real Easter egg that solves this is right here. Episode 4, 5 minutes and 40 seconds. The new director of S.W.O.R.D. has his diplomas on the wall in a strange hexagon pattern that matches Wanda's reality bubble. Every other hexagon has been created within Wanda's reality, but this one is in the actual world with no other reason of being put there except to act as a clue to us, the viewer. I mean,
White Vision.
Why spend so much time at S.W.O.R.D. headquarters? Why introduce this new character? My guess is that Wanda has been to this office and that the hexagons might be her subconscious reacting to a memory of being in that director's room. Another hint comes from the difference between the comic S.W.O.R.D. organization that we see hinted throughout various symbols in the series and the MCU S.W.O.R.D. You see, both titles are backronyms, but while the comic S.W.O.R.D. is named Sentient World Observation and Response Department, the S.W.O.R.D. in the MCU is ominously named Sentient Weapon Observation and Response Division. This...
Alright, let me just pronounce it. Sentient World Observation and Response Department. Other one, Sentient Weapon Observation and
title
Response
indicates
Division.
That rather than dealing with intergalactic threats, the MCU S.W.O.R.D. is interested in sentient weapons and how to deal with them. Human weapons that have gone out of control, weapons like Wanda. We even have this out-of-place line shoved in there.
It also says observation and response on that door, not creation.
This line is meant to clue us in that these people have made weapons in the past, and it looks like the director might be in the process of doing it again. Because consider this, if Wanda's kids are in fact real, if this whole simulation is somehow orchestrated by S.W.O.R.D. for the children and they're taken from her, we have ourselves truly the first characters actually born with superpowers in this universe. They would be the first ever mutants. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory.
And hey there, all you hepcats. Yes, you watching this video. Have you considered smacking that subscribe button? It's the swellest thing that'll keep you smartest on the block. Or if you want another theory about Phase 5 of the MCU, watch out how Thor might be the one to turn evil in the cosmic universe. Until next time, theorists!
Just a theory. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you find this video very interesting and all in all, it's just incredible, isn't it? If you do like this video, please remember to like, share and subscribe to my channel and comment down below if you have anything to share with us. Don't forget to follow my channel and sincerely appreciate all of your support and encouragement for my work. Thank you so much. Comment down below. Thank you. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut. Thank you. And I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye bye. Subscribe. Thank you. Alright, end video. This is a long video, man. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Once again, let me try sing a song, right? Who's been messing with everything? It's been all along. Who's been pulling all the evil schemes? One more time. Dun 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 dun. Who's been put sorry. One more time. Dun 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 dun. Who's been messing with everything? It's been all along. Who's been pulling all the evil schemes? It's been all along. She's so serious. I forgot. But I forgot the lyrics. Yeah. Subscribe. Thank you.